Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Mr. Ainsworth, and we're going to finish our lesson here in Section 3, Chapter 3, covering student loans. And for the past couple days, I discussed what a federal loan is all about. And so we started up here in our first lesson here. I covered what it's all about here, unsubsidized versus subsidized, what that means. I start off with a timeline here showing what happens during the four-year college span and how interest is accumulated or accrued using the simple interest formula I equals PRT. And then there's this thing called the grace period for 6 months after college, because you got to find a job right there before you start paying your loan back at the 4.5 year mark, and then you get 10 years to pay off your loan. And then we went through this 3-step process of how to find the monthly payment, the total payments, and the interest, or what's called the finance charge. That was all lesson 1. We got better at it in day 2, and we solved a few more problems, and now we are on number 7. Okay, so here we go. All right, so let's read it. Barb here is a freshman attending a 4-year college. All right, she has been approved for a $12,000 subsidized federal loan. Now, so first of all, this is new. Subsidized federal loan means that the government, all right, pays the interest during the 4.5 year non-payment period. So get your red pen out and let's write that down. So the government here pays the interest for you during that 4.5 year period. So the government pays the interest during, or the interest during, all right, the 4.5 year non-payment period. Okay, college year career, or college period. Let's just say that. Okay. So these loans are hard to get. Subsidized loans, your parents can't make too much money. They have to satisfy at maximum. Together, the combined income of your mother and father have to be less than or equal to some value. And if they make less than a certain amount, you could actually qualify for something like this. And that would save you thousands of dollars here, guys. If the government pays the interest over the first 4.5 year period, as you know from previous lessons, that can add up to quite a bit. Okay, so the interest doesn't have to be paid, only the loan back, and we're talking about this $12,000 loan. All right, it's 4.29% for 10 years. Again, it's a federal loan, so you get to pay it back over 10 years, and the interest rate is fairly low. So let's start calculating here. How much will the U.S. Department of Education pick up in interest costs, okay, interest costs during the 4.5 year non-payment period? Okay, there's your time span. Well, believe it or not, this is a simple calculation. So we use the simple interest formula, I is equal to PRT. And so all you have to do is take 12,000, which is the loan amount, multiply it by the interest rate, 0.0429, and then multiply it by 4.5 years. And believe it or not, the government's going to cover this for you. They're going to pay it for you. And if you do that and you multiply that on Desmos, and again, get your Desmos file out right here. I already did it at the very top. It's $2,316.60. So bust it out and work with me here. Just don't copy and take notes, actually do the calculation. So they will cover $2,316.60 for you. All right, they pay that, so you don't. Okay, that's why they call it a subsidized loan, because they cover that cost for you. And so that's actually an important concept there. We didn't talk about it in the previous lesson, so start that one. That's an important one. Okay, now in the next situation, we got Phil here. Now, what's going on with Phil? Let's take a look. This is all these questions 8 through 12 are based upon the Phil. So Phil has been accepted into a 2-year radiology technical program at a career school. So he's at a technical school, and it's 2 years long. So not the typical 4-year program like we were dealing with in typical situations here, but a 2-year technical program. He has been awarded a $9,000, all right, unsubsidized 10-year federal loan at 4.25%. That's like the beginning part of our lesson here. We know how to deal with that. So in this case, it's unsubsidized, which means we have to pay the interest back, okay? So must pay the interest back. That's what subsidized means. The government doesn't pay that, you do. Okay? And you have to pay that back by the 4.5 year period, as you guys already know. He knows that there's an option of beginning repayment in 2.5 years. He also knows during that non-payment period of time, which is 2.5 years in this case, because it's a 2-year technical school. And it's 2.5 years, not 2 years, because it's always 2 years of the school plus the 6-month grace period. So remember that. That's where this 2.5 number comes into play right here. So 6-month grace period here. There's always a grace period on a federal loan because they know that you have to, find a job. All right, so they're going to cut you some slack basically. So the question is, how much interest now? All right, will accrue during that 2.5 year period? Well, that's the simple interest formula again. So I equals PRT. So we're going to take the principal of the loan amount, $9,000, multiplied by the interest rate, and then multiply it by 2.5 years because he's going to a technical school, not a 4-year school. And when you multiply out, and you're going to get $965.25. Okay, so verify that with Desmos. That's a simple calculation. Now, if Phil decides to make no payments during this time, all right, during school, which is okay, the federal government gives you that decision, all right, the interest will be capitalized at the end of that period. Capitalized means due, it will come due. You have to pay it back is what I'm saying, at the 2.5 year mark, okay? So, what does it ask? What will be the new principal when he begins making the loan payments? Well, we got to add, right? So the new principal, you got to take the original loan amount. Well, he needs $9,000, right? But he's got to pay this back. He's got to pay the interest back, so which is $965.25. He's got to pay all that back at the end of 2.5 years. So what is that? Well, you don't need a calculator for that. $9,965.25. Just add the two. All right, now suppose Phil only paid the interest during the 2 years at school and the 6-month grace period. So he paid the interest. What will he pay in interest over the life of the loan? Okay, so we assume on this problem here, in number 10, that he paid the $965.25 in school. So I'm going to make a little note. So in this one here, all right, he already paid, all right, the interest back, okay? Because it says so. He only paid the interest. That's the interest back. So he's already paid the $965 back, so he doesn't have to, obviously pay it back again. He only has to pay the $9,000 back. All right, so here we go again. I'm going to do the 3-step process. So step 1, we got to find the monthly payment. Okay, so here we go. This is big fraction again. So 9,000. Okay, times 0.0429, divide that by 12, times 1 plus 0.0429, divide that by 12. It is a 10-year federal loan, so raise it to the 120th power, because there's 120 months in 10 years. Divided by 1 plus 0.0429, divide that by 12 to the 120th power minus 1. And if you just plug that into Desmos, and I think I already did, so let's see here. Yeah, it's right here. Okay, we're going to get, $92.37. Okay, so $92.37 per month. This is a monthly payment. Now the question asks you what will we pay in interest, right? So we got to find the total paid. So step 2, right here, we got to find the total paid. And as you guys know, you take your monthly payment of $92.37 per month, and you multiply it by 120 months. So just plug that into Desmos. You know what? That's what you guys should be doing here. Okay, so let's see if I did that. Yep. So that comes up to be about $11,084.40. And then you have to subtract the loan amount to get the interest amount. So let's finish up. Here we go. So in this one here, we got a step 3, the interest or the finance charge, FC. You're going to take $11,084.40, subtract the original loan amount of $9,000. Okay, and what do you get? Well, you get $2,084.40, and there's your interest payment. Okay, that's basically the cost of the loan over a period of time. Okay, that's all number 10. Okay, so all number 10 right here. All right, number 11. Phil made his last monthly interest payment on April 12th. His next payment is due on May. What will be the interest-only payment? Okay, so here we go again. So I is equal to PRT. You know, this is an interest-only payment, and it's during that college years, during the 2.5 years, you use a simple interest formula. So the principal on the loan is $9,000. All right, the interest rate 0.0429 times T. Now T is the time in years, and we're dealing with April here. And in April here, tell the person next to you how many days in April. How many days? Well, there are 30 days in April. All right, so they're going to charge you for that 30-day period, so it's 30 out of 365. And when you multiply out, they're going to charge you for that month right there, $31.73. Okay, so it's a small little interest payment. All right, last one, number 12. Phil had decided to take out a private loan, and I talked about private loans yesterday. And let me see, private loans, that was in problem number 5, okay? So number 5, yeah, so refer to number 5 if you need to here. So he decided to take out a private loan for $9,000 where loan payments start as soon as the loan amount has been deposited into the student account. So basically immediately, right? And then they're going to pay this for 10 years. So here on a private loan, they have to make payments during college, okay? So you must make payments, all right, during the college time, basically immediately. That's why getting a private loan is not really suggested, because you have to pay for it during college every month. All right, that makes it tough. Not only that, look at the interest rate, it's high. Okay, I talked to you guys about how high the interest rates are nowadays, and for personal loans, it is expensive. Okay, so now we got to calculate the monthly payment, okay, and then the total, and then the interest. Basically, your 3 steps, right? So let's calculate the monthly payment. So 9,000 times 1, back up, times 0.081 divided by 12. The interest rate is 8.1%, so that's 0.081. Times 1 plus 0.081 divided by 12. Let me see, this is a 10-year loan, so we're going to raise it to the 120th power. Divided by 1 plus 0.081 divided by 12 to the 120th power minus 1. And if you substitute that into decimals, let's see what happens. Okay, so did I put this in here yet? Yeah, it's right here. Okay, so this one here, this monthly payment is about $109.67. So let's write that down. So $109.67 per month. It's a monthly payment. Step 2, the total. You got to pay that for 120 months, right? So $109.67 per month times 120 months gives us a grand total of what? Let me see. Oh, it's already in there. Look at that. $13,160.40. All right, which means the interest here is found by subtracting this minus your original loan amount of $9,000. So if you do that, let's see here. No, I don't have it on decimals right now. So if you do that, just subtract, guys. Okay, you can do that in your head. Okay, and the interest is going to be a grand total here of $4,160.40 for interest, or you can call that finance charge. And that's number 12. Okay, always follow the 3-step process, okay? Find your monthly payment. This is your step 1. Step 2, find the total monthly payments. Step 3, subtract the original loan amount to get the finance charge or the interest. Oops, step 3 there. All right, there we go, and that's it. So at this point, we're done with the lesson here in section 3, so go ahead and submit this in Canvas. Start your review in Canvas that I told you guys about, and I'll see you back as soon as possible. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.